Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Stallions. I'm, of course, your host, Buck, and let's get right into it with the crazy news. You want to say that's been occurring for regarding to the Stallions, the USFL, and even the XFL. Quite a lot to talk about. Let's get right into it, of course. So let's start off with some player signings. I missed an episode just because it got a little busy. But we have some players to talk about that have re-signed with the Stallions. Of course, we still have that October 1st deadline coming up when it comes to when free agency starts. But let's talk about players who re-signed for the Stallions for the 2024 season. First off, late last week, we had kind of a surprise. DeAndre Tillman, he was back for the Stallions, of course, the defensive edge. He's going to be back for the Stallions. That's a name that I think a lot of Stallions fans were happy to say, okay, this man's going to be back here for us. He's going to be running that be part of that line, and he's going to have a teammate with him that everyone loved to see on the field. Also, about 3 days later, Willie Yarberry is back in for Birmingham, kind of shoring up really the kind of some of the high spots for that Birmingham defense last season. Again, if you want someone who is basically going to tear down an offensive line and try to get to the quarterback or try to reach to the running back or try to stop a wide receiver a little early, that's Willie Yarberry. So bringing him back for the Stallions, absolutely a positive move for what's going on there in Birmingham. So again, a deadly combo. You add that, very good if you're looking at that three-peat like Birmingham is. But then it felt a little dry on the offense side. So people were very excited to see. First off, talk about one name in particular. That was Cole. I always screw up his last name. Cole Schneider, I believe. He is back in for Birmingham, so that was a big positive right there. So you have that. You're bringing back some chemistry to the offensive line, someone who can teach the new guys kind of how things are expected, or maybe even, if you're going to try to bring more guys back in, your chemistry is back. But the name that everyone was really talking about when he was back, when the tweet came out, Bo Scarborough, of course, Alabama legend when it comes to his time with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now with the Stallions, he got injured in the first game, had to unfortunately sit out the rest of the season. He's back. He's going to be back playing running back for the Stallions. This is one that I'm very excited to see. There was some wonder, will he be back? Maybe he's going to consider retirement. How things go from here on out. Well, we have an answer. Unless something changes, Bo Scarborough is back in Birmingham. He's going to be back in the red and gold for the Stallions, and we're going to see how he goes. Of course, something to mention, CJ Marble is someone who's also re-signed with the Stallions. So can we see possibly maybe Bo's going to be more of the kind of almost a fullback where if they only need to gain 2 to 3 yards, he can someone who can use his size and strength to push through. And maybe use CJ for more of the, all right, let's try to get 5-6 yards on this run. So something that I think is going to be very interesting. And we could even see possibly some new running backs come in for Birmingham. How are we going to see that affect everything? What's it going to look like? And so forth. So again, as we're chugging towards that October 1st window when it comes to free agency in the USFL, and maybe more, we'll talk about that in a second. We're seeing some interesting names sign. One thing I do want to kind of talk about quickly, I'm going to address this and kind of move it on to the next thing real quick. Regarding kind of the Zach stuff when it comes to Webb, he's released it should be out by now by the time this episode's released. He's released a Hammer Time talking about it. So if you want to kind of hear his side of things when it comes to what he kind of said on Twitter about Zach, I know the players were very much responsive to that tweet. You can head over to Hammer Time, go check out that episode. He wasn't supposed to be on the show, but some news today kind of hit where we decided it would be best if I kind of handle this part right here. But let's go and talk. Let's some of the elephant in the room. A merger is happening. It's seemingly so. It came out this morning. I was literally walking to class. I was scrolling through my phone. I see the tweet hit from Front Office Sports. and then this is when we got as soon as this is what, like we started to get a bunch of the information. It's very simple. I'll just read it out. The XFL are in advanced talks to merge per Axios, and announcement could be as soon as this week. As soon as everyone saw that, shock. Shock what is the best way to describe that. No one expected this. I know there's always been the hypotheticals of, oh, if you merge, what will it look like? You know, is it going to look like this? Is it going to look like that? Now we have a possible idea very soon. I don't know I've been watching stuff. I'm recording this a little late because I've been wanting to kind of gauge the entire spring football community's reaction to this with the XFL and the USFL seemingly going to merge. Well, I'm going to say it's very much happening. We'll talk about why in just a bit, but this is something that you can't talk about both these leagues without talking about how the fan bases are constantly at each other's throats when it comes to these leagues. You could have Breakers fans and Stallions fans, bickering, but when it came to defending the USFL, it was like tag team. Both sides were willing to put aside their interleague rivalries and face off against these two leagues, and now you have kind of, I guess what you can say is kind of like the ultimate merge, where you're having these two leagues that again highly, I guess, highly considerate fan bases their fan bases are really ready to go for these leagues. You're going to put that into one league, and I guess how you go from there is going to be interesting. I guess let's talk about how long this has been going, though. James Larson kind of put this first out. He put this out about noon, I want to say, is when he put this tweet out. Let me see if I can find it. There you go. Yeah, it was about noon. He said basically, Redbird Capital was the one who reached out to the USFL. And if you don't know, Redbird Capital is part owner of the XFL, along with The Rock. So it's not just The Rock, it's Redbird Capital. I believe there's another group involved also. So you have that. That made it very clear, okay, the USFL did not initiate these talks. You now have, another, you had the XFL come to the USFL about this. And then XFL Center put out another thing basically saying there's only a couple of days after the USFL championship that these talks started. So this has been happening since July. Again, USFL championship July 1st. Let's say talks happen the next Monday. That's the 3rd. Same day Brandon Aubrey gets signed, by the way. A little funny there, signed stat. So if they've been talking since then and the word finally leaks today on a random Tuesday, I'm expecting personally that we're probably going to get this very, very soon, the official announcement for both teams. I just also want to say social media on both sides, very active today. Everyone kind of promoting themselves. The Stallions haven't tweeted, but the XFL teams were tweeting. I saw some USFL tweets. So everyone is seemingly treating this business as usual. And I guess right now the question is, what's going to happen? Well, there's a couple things. I can actually pull this up right now. There was some kind of searching. Can we find some stuff? Maybe we'll have something pop up. Well, I think this a possible indicator. This could be very much not true. We're kind of right now looking at possible evidence, but you have the two accounts were found. If you know, the XFL is made up of teams including the DC Defenders and the Arlington Renegades. Very common knowledge right there. Well, so if you know, and if you look at social media when it comes to the USFL, they always do it's at USFL and then team name or team nickname, not team locator, but just it's very simple to see. I believe the XFL does something similar, but people were just checking out, seeing what's going on. Well, two accounts were found, very similar styling, and it seems maybe to indicate maybe something's a little up. I'm going to talk about another account later that I think is part of it that's not real. But at USFL Defenders was found, and at USFL Renegades was found. These are both private accounts. They just say football, and they're blacked out everything, and they're on protected mode. But then if you go to USFL Battlehawks, that pops up with an account that's following a couple of people that's very kind of odd. A lot of people don't think it's real. Like so. I'm looking at it right now. It just has the standard kind of not there icon, and it's only following James Larson and ESPN. So, and it hasn't. Well, it has one like, and so yeah, I think I just if we're looking at that one like I think it's fake. And then you can't find any other USFL, XFL team accounts. So like if I search up like USFL Vipers, nothing pops up. If I search up like USFL Guardians, nothing pops up. So just kind of goes to show you we're just going off two possible accounts that were found. But I mean, if things look that way, which I think having those two be stylized the exact same kind of style protected accounts, I don't think that's a coincidence. If you follow this industry long enough, you realize, hey, whenever a team tries to hide an account, they usually kind of do something simple like that. So I think there might be some legitimacy to the idea of, I don't think we're going to see the USFL name go away. I think we'll see XFL teams be merged into the USFL, and maybe we'll see some, possibly some XFL stuff be going in. But I think possibly we're seeing the idea of the USFL name's going to stick around. It's going to become the United States Football League, forever. Maybe we have an XFL division, but having a USFL Defenders and Renegade account like that, I think I think some things are leaning more positive that way. When it comes to something other like Houston, my current thought, personally, this is my suggestion. I know the Gamblers never had a chance to play in Houston, and I know some people say keep the Roughnecks. My idea is just for fans and for players. You keep the Roughneck players and staff in Houston, rebrand them as the Gamblers. That way the Gamblers brand gets to stay in Houston. You have the same players, fans recognize that and the staff. And then you take the Roughnecks brand, or maybe you just put another team somewhere else. That's my suggestion. But what happens with the Vipers, because the Vipers are probably going to be out of Vegas, that's another thing. There's like 300 different things we're looking at. I mean, we haven't even talked about schedule yet. Are we going to follow the XFL schedule? Is it going to be the USFL schedule? In my opinion, I would like it to maybe run from late February to June. I think that would be a good idea. That way you don't get as much as the Southern Heat as someone who is on the turf for majority of the Stallions games. I don't want to do that again, please. And then we got to talk about, okay, well, how are we going to extend the season? How many games is it going to be? My guess, I would like 14 games. My personal opinion. So yeah, it's just we're in a really strange place where we have no idea what it's going to look like now, and I am intrigued. My guess at the moment, if talks have been happening, I think I've already said this, but just kind of repeat it one more time. If talks have been happening since July and at least today, I think we're either getting an announcement this week, which is either to the day this is uploaded, it could be out already, Thursday, maybe Friday. If not, it's going to be Monday or Tuesday. And then you start to talk about, okay, I didn't even think about this. How's TV going to look? There's been some speculation in the articles that possibly NBC's out. We don't know about that part. We're kind of they're going off speculation there that it would be ESPN, ABC, and that family of channels, and you have Fox and Fox Sports channels. So we are possibly looking at a radically different USFL or XFL, whatever happens, combination next season. And I'm intrigued. I'm telling you what, I'm excited for the idea of Birmingham going to Seattle or St. Louis coming to Birmingham or well, okay, I get to travel to San Antonio, or DC. So many cool things that are happening possibly with this merger, and we get to experience it and see it. And it looks like it's probably going to happen for the 2024 season. So, on that note, I'm your host, Buck. Be sure to follow me at Buckham USFL, and we'll see you around as more of this news breaks. And Stallions fans, be excited. We get to play, I think, a lot more teams this upcoming season. Until then, see you.